the hill at the entrance to Croke Park, Hill 16, the Irish Handball Centre was once the national home of handball in Ireland, but it broke away from the GAA mothership some years ago. Now Croke Park wants to knock the centre and build world-class handball facilities, but the centre's management committee has refused to vacate the premises in a row over what will replace it. With the GAA now suing the centre, this increasingly bitter dispute is threatening to have far-reaching consequences. Katie Hannon reports.
We put 40 years of blood and sweat into this place, so they'll have to knock this place down around us.
We shouldn't be, pandering to the most vociferous.
I feel that what they want to do is crush the community, and that's what they're at.
Some handball people are preventing possibly one of the biggest breakthroughs that we have ever seen actually going ahead.
Handball may be a minority sport, but it has a proud tradition as part of the GAA family. The Irish Handball Centre was once the national home of handball, but following rows with the GAA, it has operated as an independent republic for many years. Now a bitter dispute has erupted over who legally owns the centre and what arrangements need to be made for handball in Ireland and for the community this centre serves. It's a regular Sunday night session in the centre and the atmosphere is buzzing. But beneath the banter and revelry, there is a tension. After decades of coming here to meet up with friends and neighbours, all the members of this club have now been warned that they are trespassing. Their next-door neighbour has taken legal action to secure vacant possession of the club. That next-door neighbour is the GAA's corporate arm, Park on Croke Park GAA.
We're looking to spend £10 million to develop handball as a world-class facility, and to do that here. And we have been, frustrated for a couple of years in getting this together.
3 weeks before last Christmas, the centre's management committee was given 7 days to vacate the premises. Subsequently, all 9 members were served with civil summons. They are being sued as individuals as well as representatives of the club's membership.
I'm hugely disappointed that they would come after people like myself who have spent a lifetime coaching children and threaten us with damages for something that we've only ever tried to help in the area and to the GAA.
The GAA says that they too are disappointed it has come to this.
It is the last straw to look to take legal action and to ask people to leave. However, by doing it, we have to do it as individuals, because this is not a body corporate, it's not a limited company where we can look to take action against the entity. So each of the individuals have a liability there.
The GAA prides itself on being an organisation that is embedded in small communities while nurturing big ambitions. And this is the glittering jewel in the crown. Painstakingly redeveloped with community support over 4 phases, the new Croke Park is by any standards an outstanding achievement. But shiny new stadia come at a price, and Park on Croke Park GAA is charged with ensuring that the new stadium pays its way. That means more matches, some of them under floodlights. It means renting out the new facilities for conferences and parties and rock concerts, and marketing the GAA HQ as a tourist attraction.
Before it became sort of this big profit-making organisation, we felt they were much more accommodating to the residents, and in dealing with them, I think they had much more empathy, if you like, as to where we were coming from. I certainly think there's a lack of empathy in terms of what the residents actually experience in this area.
The GAA has attempted to address this with a range of initiatives. A community liaison officer has been appointed. He oversees a community fund that invests in local schemes like this garden project in the shadow of Croke Park.
We invest close to £100,000 a year into a variety of different projects in the area, festivals, school groups, local medical services, Meals on Wheels, that type of activity.
Despite the GAA's efforts, there is no denying that in recent years, once friendly relations between Croke Park and many of its neighbours have become more strained. None has soured more than the relationship between Croke Park and its nearest neighbour, the Handball Centre. Although now showing its years, the centre has an illustrious history. Built in 1970 on land owned by the GAA with the assistance of a large number of sponsors, it was the training base for Muhammad Ali when he fought Al Blue Lewis in 1972. Over the years, it has become something of a social hub in the community, with a busy schedule of activities and social gatherings. Despite disputes with the GAA hierarchy, the centre remained at the heart of Dublin handball and was the venue for All-Ireland Championship matches until 3 years ago, when all formal links with Croke Park were finally severed.
We looked at the state of the facilities, and our players, I suppose, weren't content to play in those facilities as well, which had a major bearing on it. So really we felt that it just wasn't fit for purpose for our national finals. So right now we need a new state-of-the-art complex to actually coincide and run parallel with the huge growth of the sport, both in Ireland and internationally.
There's been something of a Cold War ongoing between Croke Park and the Handball Centre here for over 20 years now, with running battles over bar licences and funding. But when Croke Park announced plans to demolish this centre and replace it with a state-of-the-art handball complex, they pressed the nuclear button.
We're not just going to stand by and allow them kick us out on the street. We put 40 years of blood and sweat into this place.
The GAA, in their proposal that they put forward at the end of 2009, they didn't even have a proper community room. They cut out a space in the fire. So, and when asked why was there not a social facility in it, they said, well, it's inappropriate. To have a bar in the New World Handball Centre is inappropriate. If there's any organisation in the whole country that knows how important a bar licence is to a club, the GAA knows, because they're all over the country. They keep clubs going.
The decision not to provide for a bar in the €9 million development would become a serious stumbling block.
It's not a generally held, view. Not all the community want a bar. That's the point. It's not that we shouldn't be, pandering to the most vociferous.
220 clubs all around the country who haven't got a bar facilities there to sustain themselves, but still have exceptional facilities and exceptional community atmosphere.
With over 30 objections, the application for planning permission went to an An Bord Pleanála oral hearing in November 2010.
All the local politicians were involved in opposing the plan. I spoke at the oral hearing on behalf of the local politicians. All of the street reps and local residents spoke against it. The inspector herself, in her submission to the board, did not recommend that the development should be given the go-ahead.
Months passed with no decision from An Bord Pleanála. The GAA's handball governing body was growing frustrated.
The last event we hosted there was we had a GAA showdown, which brought GAA stars from all codes coming to play handball. We had our top handball stars, and to be perfectly honest with you, the large number of our playing members, our officials, our central council, they used the words embarrassing.
In the meantime, in early June of last year, the GAA unveiled an alternative proposal. This would also incorporate a national handball centre in a major urban village regeneration project on the other side of Croke Park.
We spent some time with the Dublin City Council to see would the Croke Village site be suitable for handball. It really created a very, very interesting urban village. So a beautiful boulevard taking us from the Cusick Stand out to Ballybock.
They showed me drawings that what they were really interested in was getting a big development of the Croke Village area, which is roughly about a 3.5 acre site at the canal end near the Cusick Stand. And this all of a sudden now began to make sense, because that's somewhere you could spend 9 million. We never believed that it would take 9 million to develop 5 ball alleys and an office centre.
Croke Villas is a local authority flats complex that was one of the regeneration projects that collapsed after the boom.
Essentially, people living in those flats were left in the lurch. There's currently 17 families still living there. They live in conditions that could not be countenanced as acceptable by anybody in the year 2012. The flats are damp, they're run down, and a lot of the blocks are virtually empty.
The Handball Centre's management were invited to meetings with the architect, where they were encouraged to contribute to the design. Full replacement facilities were promised. Finally, it seemed, here was a plan that suited everyone. Then in August came the news that An Bord Pleanála was granting planning permission for the original plan to build on the site of the old club. Negotiations between Croke Park and the centre's managers broke down, with each side accusing the other of bad faith. The GAA began legal action to have the handball centre vacated, ready for demolition. The Handball Centre Committee believe that the GAA is no longer interested in developing their site and now just wants them out in order to open up access to the stadium.
The GAA have told us publicly and in writing that they've absolutely no interest in building on this premises, that they're going to build the new project down in Croke Villas. If that's so, why are they suing the people here and closing us down 3 years prior to anything can be produced down there?
They don't really believe that you want to build a new handball centre on that club site. They believe you really want to build on the Croke Villas site, and that you'd like to see that site vacant for turning lorries and for access.
Yeah, and I wouldn't dispute that. I mean, our primary, our preferred option would be the Croke Villas site, because I think the community gain that would be generated there would be, would far outstrip any other project that we could probably bring to the table. And yeah, that would be the one we would really like to go for. But that is not an option yet, unless the City Council say to us, yeah, you can do this.
The 10 local councillors have condemned the GAA's actions in suing the management committee as individuals. Earlier this week, they unanimously passed another emergency motion calling for any proposal from Croke Park on the Croke Villas development to include an agreed solution to the ongoing issue of the handball centre. This may prove crucial because the GAA cannot purchase the Croke Villas site without the support of the Dublin City Councillors.
Unless the GAA are brought to heel on this and discuss the matters and give the handball centre what they want, that I as a local councillor and my fellow councillor are of the same mind, we will not be passing any motions to let the GAA just come in and get 3.5 acres of prime city land and do what they like with it without any regard for the local community.
All parties to this dispute agree that the regeneration of Croke Villas is desperately overdue. But its fate may now rest on the ability of the GAA and the handball centre to overcome their differences.
I think it would be extremely unfair if any party were to use the issue of the handball alley to deny the residents of Croke Villas new homes and a regenerated site. So I don't think we can have a zero-sum game here. There has to be a win-win.
That report was from Katie Hannon. Well, that's it for tonight. The next news in RTE is News on 2 at 6 minutes past 11. Bami there Ashjay Mark Okanishu and Fain. Agus gach din Prime Time Garab Margav Galera Osokta Vetlin Agus Ihawa.